The following is a production of Natural Bliss Podcast for a better quality of life.
Hi, welcome to It's Your Life. I'm your host, Joyce Wheeler. Today is December 29th, 2019, and it is a Tuesday. Today I am here with Issa. His life revolves around the same axis with a common thread word, exchange. His motto is the exchange of idea is indispensable to the people as the exchange of substances. The CEO of a fashion garment company of import-export in Shanghai for 12 people made in India. The exchange there was import, export, and trade. Also the co-creator of a holistic well-being center in Bali, Shambhala. The exchange is helping people to find themselves and to be happy in their everyday life. He's a professor of 5 different prestigious businesses and fashion schools in the world, MBA and master's degree, exchange, transmission. Great dreamer awake, born in Europe but Western in mind. He is passionate about spirituality as well as the mysteries of life, both theoretically and experimentally, for almost 40 years and even beyond. He has spent most of his life traveling inwardly and outwardly through the physical, nearly 70 countries, and metaphysical world to try to gather a maximum of information, cultural, practical, and spiritual, and to synthesize it in what he baptized the benchmark of the world, to share with the maximum of people the way of teaching in our Wellbeing Center is unique, holy style of life. This is an inward and outward journey. This approach is useful to emphasize the common thread in life at each level. Physics, metaphysics, integrating that all is linked and interconnected. It exists a force maintaining and interlocking all subjects of all kind of existence, visible and invisible. His center, Shambhala, proposes retreats with 20 disciplines: meditation, Pilates, Kundalini Yoga, Reiki, Qigong, sound therapy, holotropic, breathwork, auto-hypnosis. Living in Asia for almost 10 years, entrepreneur, lecturer, and speaker, MBA master, student, professor, he has learned how to be a link and facilitate exchange in the garment industry. After having dressed people for 15 years, he aspires to undress them and is passionate by many fields, science, art, and spirituality. Issa, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Nice to talk to you, and hello, everybody.
So today we're going to talk about energy, but the type of energy we're talking about is the natural vibrational frequency of humans and everything around us. So Issa, can you define that for us, please?
Yeah, actually, this concept of energy is very large because it's embracing a lot of concepts and themes. So I would like to cross different ones, and also regarding science and also spirituality to show that both concepts are two faces of the same middle in a certain way. So we try to show that it is accessible regarding science and also in the daily life approach. So if we start from the beginning, the etymology of energy, it's come from the ancient Greek, which is energia, which means literally force in actions. So actually, I could summarize, and that's why then I will need to develop a little bit. All is energy. This is the main point of this discussion. All is energy, and this is the basis of the equilibrium and the good balance of life. Actually, the goal in this quest will be, by the way, to make this energy fluctuating properly, to be healthy and harmonious. But this is for a single, let's say, point of view as a human perception, individual perception. But we will see and we'll enlarge our perspective regarding even at the worldwide level. So when I say all is energy, I would like to start with the scientist perspective, which is a matter of fact because this is recognized by our society, the fact that You can find energy everywhere in the physics, in mechanics, in thermodynamics, in electromagnetism, in quantum mechanics, and also in chemistry. And when I say everything is energy, science admitted it. For example, the great scientist Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And even through this simple sentence, we have the key. Okay, and this key is energy. Energy could be, in a certain way, we could discuss because it's a little bit slightly different, but energy could be associated with frequency and vibration. Okay, so this is the first point. This is from the science perspective. If I add something else, it's through Albert Einstein. Once again, he's not a new ager. Huh? It is an official, let's say, pillar of our modern society. And he explained clearly the following. He said that what we called matter is energy, the vibration of which has been greatly reduced in order to be perceptible to the senses. There is no matter. It's not me who say that. It's Mr. Einstein. He say there is no matter. It's only, let's say, some vibration which has been reduced to be perceivable to our senses. So we have to understand that. And it means that no matter, it means that there is nothing concretely tangible. Even the table is not tangible. It is some vibration and with a force of reaction. If we continue a little bit in that sense, and to understand our world is a large field of energy. And once again, in scientist vision, 4% of our world of energy is made of physical matter as we perceive it, okay? 27% is dark matter and 69% is dark energy. So, as a matter of fact, if I can afford playing on the word matter, as a matter of fact, if we believe only in what we see, like Saint Thomas, we only believe in 4% of our reality, and even this reality on which we believe in the materialistic dimension is an illusion. And the illusion, that's the Veda, the Hindu talk for ages, the Veda from the Hinduist perspective, which means illusion. The word is illusion. And to understand the concept and to unveil this illusion, we have to dig into the energy. All right. So another point I would like to continue and to go to a larger perspective, still with Einstein, because he said something at the limit of the esoteric dimension. He said the following. He said everything is energy and that's all. Match the frequency of the reality you want and you will not be able to stop getting it. It cannot be otherwise. This is not philosophy, this is physics. The key point is match the frequency of the reality you want and you will not be able to stop getting it. What does it mean concretely? It means thereby that our brain is like a radio, is emitting, receiving, but we are what we think. And we create vibration according to your mind. Okay, this is scientifically proved. The fact that you have electrodes on you put electrodes on your brain, you emit some electricity in a certain way, magnetism. And this has an impact on the matter, on the reality. It means that if you're super positive, and this is the basis of the law of attraction, you can shift in a certain way in the reality that you will co-create. In a certain way, is explaining us indirectly that there is the multiverse, the different scenario already happening somewhere, and I insist on the somewhere, and according to the frequencies of our mind, our ideas, we shift on it. All right? So, and thereby we can already see the perspective, which is based on the intention. The intention, you have intention, tension, the fact to put some energy, some vibration on something. If you are detached or if you really will something, if you really want something. And the impact on the matter is extremely important, as we can see, and we will see with two main examples. And the first example is, for example, The professor Masuro Emoto did an experience, which is quite known, with the crystallization of water. Have you heard about that?
Yes, I have. Very
Yeah.
fascinating. Very fascinating.
Yeah, if I do a long short, it's basically he crystallized some water with intention. People who were from one side doing, let's say, bad intention, like, I hate you, I will kill you. And crystallizing that, he was showing some really ugly form, shapes, and so on the water. And on the other way around, with positive, like, I love you, and so on, it was like wonderful crystals. And knowing that we are made of 70% of water internally in our body, imagine if you think, well, if you're always looking at the mirror saying, ugly and so on, I'm awful and so on, obviously you vibrate that. So that's why sometimes people are not necessarily, let's say, physically super attractive and so on, but they attract you through the good energies.
Right.
And this is extremely important. It's even not the notion of, let's say, charm. It is beyond that. This is the frequencies. And this is extremely important. The second example I wanted to as a proof in a certain way, the power of the mind and the notion of waves length is a schizophrenic, for example. It has been proved that if he has diabetes and two different characters, okay, one is, for example, Issa with no diabetes, Aurelien with diabetes. I'm the same person. Once is Aurelien, he has diabetes, and if he becomes Issa, he doesn't have diabetes anymore, and which is extremely strange. It shows that according to, let's say, the tenor of your mind, of your ideas, you shift completely the integrated system of your body, like your DNA, which is the support of your information. And in a certain way, it shows something else regarding this intention is the notion of emotion. The emotion impact our reality as well. Is shaping the reality.
Right.
And in emotion, in the language of bird, the green language, which is a subtle language on which we can decipher some sound and some other information. Through this perspective, emotion we can split by emotion. E, which is E equal mc2, which is the formula of the energy discovered by Einstein. Emotion, it means this is energy in motion, energy in movement. So it means that the emotion is basically only some energy in motion, in movement, impacting, shaping the relationship with people and also the health, positive way or negative way. Is it clear for you so far?
It is. I have one question. You
Yes, tell me.
use the word diabetes. Diabetes.
Yeah.
I don't
Yes.
understand. I don't. That's a new word to me. Can you please explain that?
Maybe it's my pronunciation. Excuse my accent. Diabetes, the disease, actually, when you
Oh,
have
diabetes.
sorry, diabetes. Oh, yes, sorry. Excuse
Okay.
me.
All right. No, no, no. You're fine. Go ahead. With the water too. The water's really fascinating because we can actually program our water to raise our vibrational frequency and also to receive better health. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how our natural vibrational frequency is important to our health.
Yeah, definitely. So if we talk about water, but can be even we can enlarge the perspective because it is food, this is state of mind, this is everything in a certain way, and also this is personal and collective way because there is two dynamic. There is the inward and the outward perspective, the centrifugal force and the centripetal force. And the centrifugal force is within us. Okay, so it's the five senses. The five senses, every time we have a sensation, touching, taste bud, and so on, is basically electric signals that you have in your mind, in your brain. Okay, it's a kind of encoding, okay, inside your integrated system. And the support is your DNA. And the four elements or the five elements are the outward source of energy. And why I'm talking about these two forces is important because there is source of energy within yourself and outside yourself. And that's why, and this within you and outside you is completely free energy. But most of people are scared, and our system is based on the scarcity. Scarcity to scare people, and also to separate people.
Right.
But once we realize that it is the abundance, the basis of abundance, that it is limitless, we are not afraid anymore. But if you analyze the society, the evolution of history, and so on, everything is a struggle of energy. The let's say day-to-day relationship with your boss who wants to the position of someone else, your colleagues, the vampire energy vampire, your,
Yeah.
the colleagues, the bad friends, the I don't know, the nocive let's say relationship, love and so on, the narcissistic pervert, all this kind of thing is a notion of energy. Power is energy, you see.
Right.
And even the battle and most of the wars are supremacy, so kind of intangible energy that people are looking for. If you see the big families in the world, they have billions and billions. They could even not spend the whole money within their life, you see, but they still need more. Why? Because they need more. They
Greedy.
never,
They're greedy.
yeah, yeah, they are not too much greedy, and they never reach the satiety. Actually, they always need more, 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 more. They are like bulimic, but. And beyond of that, regarding the words and so on, most of the time you can analyze this is a notion of energy, the resource, the petrol, gas, water for the future, and so on. And this is once again a quest of power. But even individually speaking, it is interesting to see also like this. And because most of the people are trying to nick in a certain way, sorry, but to reap or to, let's say, to steal in a certain way the energy, the good energy of people or other people.
Right.
And if we understand that this is not on this way, the energy, when I say to you, is infinite. Let's take an example, and then we will see one by one. But check this out. You're Monday evening, 7 o'clock. You're tired. It's winter. You don't want to go to gym because you have no energy. You are almost powered off. Okay, and miraculously, you say to yourself, "Hey, come on, let's motivate myself," and I go to gym. And finally, after 1 hour of gym, initially you thought you had no energy, you feel full of energy. Where this energy is coming from if you didn't have the fact to spend to spare some energy and to do some sport, you created some new energy. Normally, mathematically speaking, physically speaking, it is not possible. But you activate a kind of dynamo which is outside your body. It's the same phenomenon when you are two people and your friend is completely depressed, for example, and you activate yourself. You transmit some energy to this person, and now this person is filled through your energy. And suddenly you could think that you're out of energy because you share your energy. Normally, if you are 100%, maybe you gave half, you should be at 50%. But it's the contrary, because what you give and transmit, the person will give you back. And then at the end, if you were 100% and you were zero, at the end, maybe you will be at 75% and you will be at 150%. So we created an artificial or let's say energy through something which is outside us. That's my point, which is extremely important and which is what we call in a certain way the notion of resonance. Resonance, I know, is a little bit different because it is the impact of the macro on the micro. But what I mean thereby here, and I will just quote Max Planck, the person who discovered the quantum mechanics, he said the following, because it's extremely interesting. He said, all matters comes from a force and exists only by it. We must assume the existence under this force of a conscious and intelligent spirit. This spirit is the matrix of all matter. Why I insist on that? Because it is exactly explaining what I'm saying. It is explaining what the Greek talk about ether, what the Asian philosophy are talking about chi, the Hindu about prana and so on. There is a subtle energy which is limitless, and this is probably the let's say the dark energy, and we are just focusing on what we see. So that's why we are fighting each other. I mean, most of our societies for struggling to this, let's say, rare energy, but this energy normally which is superior, which is higher than the one that we can see normally, is a source, I mean, without any restriction, if you understand my point.
Let's talk about the qi.
Yeah,
Because a lot of
right.
people, while it's Chinese medicine, it makes total sense to me, and I think it's a great way of explaining the natural energy force that flows through each one of us.
Yeah. So actually, concretely, if I do it short, qi in Chinese, and I lived in China for almost 10 years. Qi in Chinese means energy, basically. Qigong means that. Tai Chi is the same. But actually, it's a kind of, let's say, if you analyze another way, is Reiki. Ki is the Chi from the Japanese. Is the same principle, which is the same principle for Hindu prana. So the Chi is a infinite energy which is inside and outside. That's why I started like this, because this is the, let's say, the common link in between our little egos and the outer world, and because there is no fragmentation in between both. And this fluctuation of energy is the basis of Tao. Tao means everything. Okay,
Right.
in Chinese it means two things. It means Tao means to arrive, towards, and also global. So, and it means exactly that. It means that it is the direction, this is the arrival and the departure, alpha, omega, and this is the globality, basically. But just to come back on the points, on the Tao, the science of Tao and the application of Tao is the Qigong and Tai Chi, but also this is the Chinese medicine. The Chinese medicine, which is almost the same than Ayurveda in Sanskrit, means science of life. This is the basic study on the fact that everything is energy in the nature. In the human body, you have, let's say, channels of meridians, channels of energy. And the main ones, obviously, are the three ones, low dantian and so on. You have one at the level of almost at the sex, then one's close to the heart, and then to the third eye. Then if you see more in detail, you have seven chakra. Seven chakra, like Hinduism, which is interesting, and we could see after if you want. Seven chakra, seven colors, seven notes of music, which is not innocent. It is a nation of frequencies, vibration again. Okay?
Right.
So, and the meridians basically are just like if you see, I don't know, the US map, you will see different roads. And if you want from Seattle to go to, I don't know, New York, you have different paths. As we say, the expression, all the roads lead to Rome, you see? So, and the meridians are that. If you see in the physics, if you have too many resistance, the resistance affect the good fluidity of your electricity. Is exactly the same. Most of our disease or sickness are due to a lack of fluctuation of energy.
Right.
And the goal of this holistic approach, the Chinese medicine, is that is an anticipation, is not curative, it is preventive, with the perspective to make fluctuating. Check this out. If you have in your garden, let's say, stagnating water, what's happening? It smells, it becomes green, full of animals inside, and it is become, because it is not, there is no movement inside. It's the same thing if you have not a good fluctuation of energy within your body. So the goal of the Tai Chi and all these disciplines, whatever the origin, because most of them, they are almost the same. Well, we have this discussion in English we could have in different languages. It wouldn't affect the content, it's just the form, you see. So the Chi and the mastering the Chi is that it is really to see and to be familiar with this fluctuation of energy. And this is extremely important as you think about, I don't know, taking your coffee in the morning to wake up your body, to wake you up in a certain way every morning. You do a little bit of exercise to, okay, I wake up, so I remake my circulation of energy. And this is important to know yourself through that. Like this is a key to be
Right.
healthy and also healthy in your mind as well. You don't have pain anymore. You don't somatize. There is no somatic dimension of your mind. And then the good health of your body affects your good mind as well.
Right.
And your good mind affects your good body. And this is both sides, you see. And another point, because I make it short because it's very, very deep and very, it's very esoteric in a certain way. I've been taught with interesting masters. And in a certain way, we use yin and yang because it is a duality that we use. Yin, yang, it doesn't mean positive, negative, or feminine, masculine. It is, and positive, negative is not judgment. It is like, in a battery, it is just positive, negative. It's just the polarities, like the north and the north hemisphere and the south pole. It is just polarity. So we use this two energy, yin yang, like Ida Pingla in Hindu, and the goal is to activate properly and to respect also that both sides have a reason of being. You know, most of the time, and essentially for Westerner mind, we want to make everything homogeneous, and we think this is the harmony, right?
Welcome back to It's Your Life. I'm your host, Joyce Wheeler, and I'm here with Issa. And I'm sorry, but we lost power for just about a minute. So now we're going to go ahead, and Issa is going to take up where he left off.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to continue, but as I mentioned previously, it's funny as the universe has a synchronicity. We're talking about energy and abundance, and we are powered off, so it's a sign, probably the sign of the future with the free energy. So to come back to the point, I was mentioning the fact that there is a reason of being in between the yin and the yang, the polarities, the positive and the negative. Most of the time, we want to make it homogeneous. What does it mean? If we analyze the nature, we observe the nature, there is an orchestration with a reason of being. If you analyze the sea, in the sea you have some warm current and you have some cold current. And if you don't have that, you don't have any dynamic creating the climates. Otherwise, it becomes like water in a lake, okay, stagnating, and thereby there is no climate. It means that there's two forces, there's two warm and cold currents are important to maintain the dynamic of the progression and of life, basically. So that's why it's important to perceive it like this, to understand that everything is a question regarding this notion of Tao, yin, yang, of equilibrium and of balance. Balance brings harmony, actually. And a good balance, it is very deep because it means the good energy, but also it means no need to be extreme in a certain way. Extreme, I don't know, extreme in your way of having life. You don't need to be, I don't know, an ascet in the middle of the mountain in Tibet without electricity, without food, fasting all the time to reach the illumination, the awakening. You can be just harmonious and reach this point of singularity only through a good balance of life. It means you can also enjoy life, the pleasure of the good food, the party sometimes, but with always this notion of balance, yin and yang. If you analyze through another perspective, because every time we go to very far to find back what we have just in front of us. Okay, you are from America and as a continent, I'm European initially, but we are Westerners, and we are always trying to find the wisdom through Asia, for instance, the Asian philosophy, but we have also in the symbols as well in our culture. I'm not talking necessarily about religion, but I'm talking about culture. In the Jewish Christianity, you have that. In Christianity, the symbol of the cross, it is a symbol, okay? And symbol means bringing together. And bringing together means the different interpretation. What does it mean concretely? the cruise. The cruise is a good alignment in between the horizontality and the verticality. What is verticality? What is horizontality? Horizontality is the materialistic dimension. It means to be aligned with your neighbors, with your friends, with in your work, in your daily life. Every time you're in harmony, okay? Align. And align as well with the vertical dimensions, that's the spirituality, but not necessarily also the energy. If you don't believe in God or you are not attached to a certain religion or spirituality, it's not a big deal. But at least understanding, because it's science as well, the functioning of the energy is important. And this is enlightenment, a vertical enlightenment. And at the center, what do you have in this enlightenment? You have you, the point, the center. And the center is you always. This is very important to understand that. And the point of singularity is only you, and you are your universe, okay? And everything is within you. And this it will be the path through the fact to find this equilibrium. And this equilibrium, once we find it, actually, it is the good fluctuation of the energy, Shushuma for the Hinduism. But this is once we find the Tao, the samadhi, or the oneness, basically. And what is it? It is when you don't need something external. You don't need more. You are just at the correct time, at the proper time, doing what you have to do.
Right.
Do you understand my point?
No, totally. I totally understand.
This is actually, it is simple of complexity and complex of simplicity. So, but if we go back to something maybe more down to earth, it can afford. What are the key practical things to have this good energy? So I mentioned one, the fact of to try to explore this notion of energy through these activities, Qigong, Tai Chi, yoga Kundalini, there is different kinds of yoga, but anyway, even gymnastic, Pilates, all this kind of thing. What is it concretely? Is a triptych, an harmony in between the body, the mind, and the soul, all the time, always like this. And once you have that, normally you don't have so many problems of disease. First, the second, so exercise. We could say basically exercise. The second one is the notion of sound. And that's why we invest a lot in research and development, and we really want to be a big center regarding that point. Sound therapy. Sound therapy, chanting bowls, and so on, with the fork and so on. It has been proved that it is a new probably the medicine of the future. What is it concretely? Is the fact, as I mentioned previously, we have different points of energy, okay? The 7 chakra, okay? The main ones, let's say. There is meridians, but there is the main points of energy, chakras. 7 chakras, 7 colors, 7 notes of music, corresponding to a frequency. Okay, so it means that if I generate a certain kind of frequency, I will affect your center of energy. In a certain way, we can create, for example, some massage of the chakra. Sometimes when someone is sick, just the fact to visualize that with the sound, we can rebalance the good energy, the fluidity of the person, and then the person will be fine. It's the same principle than, let's say, acupuncture. Acupuncture is by touching one point physically, but this one is not physically because it is touching indirectly through the energies. But once again, it's really interesting to understand that there is a notion of 7 notes, 7 chakras. There is, without going too deep inside this very interesting topic, but the solfeggio harmonics are, let's say, different levels of frequencies. The most known is, for example, what we listen as the music is 440 hertz, okay? But it's disharmonious, all right? It has been changed during the Second World War, and it has never been changed anymore. The classical music is 432 and is completely harmonious. Mozart, all the Schumann and so on. That's why we recommend, for example, for before doing mathematics and so on, or to be better concentrate, we recommend that. More and more people are using, you can find easily on on YouTube or wherever for free, some frequencies. Okay, 432, 524 for the DNA change or harmonious, planetary harmonious, all this kind of thing. And if you know a little bit that, no need to be an expert of that, you will use these frequencies as a drug, as a pill, okay, I need to be more, I don't know, I need something special for a
Stress.
special
Stress.
yeah, for stress, for something, and you can just adjust, you see what I mean? And this is really fascinating, and it will be, by the way, one of the medicine of the future regarding the holistic medicine. That's a matter of fact, if the industry allows us, of course, because our medicine is a little bit based on the market. Huh? We don't have so much interest that we are healthy, because otherwise it's a market share that we are losing. Even this perspective, if I can afford, just as a matter of fact, and this is because we can take some inspiration from the past.
We'll be right back with Joyce Wheeler and It's Your Life.
Bring out your heavenly body with Heavenly Body skincare products. Heavenly Body's products are created to feed and nourish the skin. They formulate their products in small batches for both quality and freshness. Heavenly Body's products are cruelty-free, contain certified organic ingredients, and are cost-effective. To bring out the Heavenly Body in you, visit their website at hborganicskincare.com.
We're back with Joyce Wheeler and It's Your Life.
The Chinese medicine is based on sociologically speaking, is based on the following. In the past, in previous ages, few centuries ago, a doctor was in charge of, for example, a valley, like a village, few villages. And he was paid regularly, normally, and he was in charge of the good health of everybody. Okay, so he was regularly to doing some checks to people to maintain them healthy. And if someone were sick, it was because of a mistake of diagnosis. And if it was too frequent, it was badly perceived. It was not paid anymore. So he had really a real interest that everybody, by preventive dimension, that everybody is healthy. You see the perception and the difference with now, because now I'm not saying that it's completely a market, but
Oh, it's definitely a
kind
market.
of.
It's definitely a market.
It's
I'll say it.
health is the third market in the world after weapons and food. Let's imagine.
Well, I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, when you see it, so destruction, fooding, and then cleansing. And if you see, it's really symbolistic. But anyway, um, aside, the third point is food. We were talking about food. The transition is interesting because food is energy, basically.
Right.
Food is energy. If you take, for instance, that's why it's important as well to be aware of what nutrition is a key to be happy and to be healthy. We know we first we eat too much and we eat bad most of the time. We eat, let's say, products which are just filling us basically. But there is no nutrients, there is no enzymes. For what? Because this is a refined product. Refined product, concretely, you eat just for the taste. It doesn't bring you anything. Okay, it is true for artificial product that you buy, and this is not fresh. There is nothing anymore. Okay, then you have, for example, the natural food, like essentially organic food. Organic food, it's still preserved. The way of cooking as well is important, and this is inspired by Ayurvedic fooding. The fact that few people knows, but when you cook under upper 43 degrees Celsius, sorry, I don't know the conversion in Fahrenheit, but in Celsius is 43 degrees, you lose and you destroy your nutrients and your enzymes. So then you don't have your natural medicine. Enzymes are cleaning up the body. But if you are burning them, they don't exist anymore. So what we eat, normally in what we eat, we have no vocation to be sick. If we are not stressed, if we eat properly, we have no vocation to be sick. Sickness is a warning. It say, hey, hello, what are you doing? Please change your way of behaving. It is not to punish you, just to try to as a signal, be careful, cautious. Okay, so then you have other kind of product that few people know so far. In Canada, it exists like 20 years already. This is energy food. So it's going to be probably make laugh a lot of people. Energy food. What is it concretely? It is organic food, but also some product that you're, let's say, taking care. So it is just, for example, transferring, the farmer will transfer good emotion to the plants and so on. He will talk to the plants. He will try to give love to the plants. You know, like probably in the ages, in the past, they used to do that. And this is the same principle that start to be more and more known. The experience of the rice, which is similar to the experience of the water. You give intention to the rice, positive and negative. I hate, I love. You will see the rice is becoming, one is maintained white and the other one becomes black and horrible. It's the same for food. If you give good intentions, that's why it's like the miracle, the magic recipe of grandma. She's preparing food with love. You eat food with love. The effect is different, you see? So all this, the fact, your assimilation, the consciousness, you know what's bring you as a nutritional intake. Garlic boost the circulation of the blood, for example. If you know that, when you eat it, you enlarge the energy of that. You enhance this dimension first. Then when you eat with love, is different, okay? And this is what we call the French paradox. The American scientists realize one thing, because they check the French food and they say, how come nobody has so many heart problems? They eat very fat with the sauce, they drink a lot of alcohol. And you know what they discovered? They discover, and that's why they call that the French paradox, they discover the way of French people are eating is with joyful, the preparation and joyful. It means that the assimilation is different. You understand? It doesn't affect like maybe other people. If you are eating with your face in your mobile, or you're not absorbed by what you are doing and you are stressed and so on, the assimilation is different. That's why there is no extraordinary recipe. You know, the archetype we say, and it's probably French people invited that to promote the French wine. We say 2 glasses of red wine is good for health. I'm going to tell you, maybe it's true, but I'm pretty sure that, for example, someone like a Muslim from his very childhood, he knows and he has been taught in the sense that alcohol is haram, so it means bad for health. Internally integrate the fact is bad for health. So even if he's adult, he will drink that. He will have, let's say, a somatic dimension, and maybe it will affect badly his health. You understand my point of view?
Right.
It means that you are a filter of the perception of the assimilation of the energy. And that's why it's interesting to open up this dimension to understand the nutrition in general, to know how does it work, to assimilate, and also to try to cope or to play with that, because it's really fascinating and also a source, once again, of a good energy, good balance. Because at the end, you know, for example, we do in Shambhala, our retreat, we propose, for example, during a couple of days, raw, everybody will say, oh my goodness, tasteless. For them, it's tasteless. Not at all, because he's a great chef who did that voluntarily to show to the people that it can be full of taste with a little bit of lemon, a little bit of garlic, and so on. And even you eat with your eyes, because you see the plate and it's amazing. It's beautiful. You see, it's like a painting. First, you eat with your eyes. Secondly, The portions are not so big, but it's full of nutrients. So we do a lot of exercise all day long. We eat at 12, for example, at 6 o'clock, it's time to eat again. And we say, oh, finally, I'm not so hungry. And despite the fact I didn't eat so much. And people after even 5 days or 10 days, they realize that they feel better, full of energy, and they even lost weight. You understand the point? So it doesn't mean we associate the fact, probably because of ages, and we have been frustrated in our DNA, the lack of food in the some periods and so on. And we think that we always need to eat a lot. No, we have to eat consciously and qualitatively instead of quantitatively.
Right.
Is the point.
Right. I totally agree. My husband, Randy, he has a question for you. He wants to back up a little bit.
You were talking about resonance a little while ago, about the energy and the resonance. Am I
Right.
to understand that this energy that we put off to other people, is this done such as in resonant bands of frequency, or exactly how are we communicating with people?
This is very good question, very deep question, because actually, maybe I'm gonna shock people, but this energy doesn't allow. We don't own this energy, and once we understand we don't own this energy, we own this energy. It means that it is the notion of the more you emit, the more you receive. So it means that this is a fluctuation of downloading this energy for you and then through you and thereby through the people. Let's take a basic example, which will be more understandable. A Reiki, what's the principle of Reiki? I do it short. Concretely, most of the people think it is a transmission of energy. I am the giver, I give to you, and you receive my energy. It's not at all that. I'm a channel, so I'm transparent as a glass, and I let, like the resistance, I have no resistance, and I let we can divine energy, but whatever the terminology, the chi, let's say the chi or the prana, I let the prana, this amazing energy, the ether, passing through me, and I let it go through me towards the person I give. But it means so the person will receive, and in parallel, I will receive as well. So in that notion, there is no. This is the principle of resonance. It means that the person receiving, you also receive more than the person also. You understand? So it's a kind of win-win situation in a certain way. But resonance means also another point, actually. Resonance means there is an impact in between the small scale and the larger scale. This is in the Hermetism, what we call, it is the principle of emerald table, that's to say, as above, so below. So concretely, what does it mean? It means that the small effect has an impact on the big scale. An example of that, if you take magic, the voodoo puppet. You put you have an effect on a puppet, which has an impact on human people. Is the same. Is the principle of the butterfly affecting with just a little wing affect a tornado in Europe, for example. Butterfly in Asia create a tornado this is the domino effect as well. And actually the resonance, two things. It's both sides. Earth has a frequency. This is Schumann frequencies. It's normally 7.23, if my memory is correct. And so it affects our mind, and we discharge as well some energy to the earth. So we can assume that we are discharging and downloading as well in both sides, and everybody is affected. And this is all the theory of the Dr. Rupert Sheldrake with what we call the morphic field. Have you heard about that? Morphic field? Yeah, but actually, there is a cloud of energy for everything. Every matter, every object has his own cloud of energy, and which is a part of the big cloud everywhere on the planet and even behind of that. That's the point.
Now, I'm aware that everything's energy, but I never heard of it. I've never heard of this theory. That's something I'm going to have to do some research on.
But actually, it's basically the principle, ancestral principle of Akasha, Akashic record. It is the basis of that, like the universal library,
Yeah.
the universal consciousness.
Right.
And this is the point, because the resonance is corresponding to the consciousness. And there is a difference in between the consciousness with a small c and the consciousness with a capital letter. There is the consciousness, and you have your own consciousness, which is a small part, a drop in the ocean. And that's why Rumi, the great Sufi, said, you are not a drop in the ocean, you are the entire ocean within a drop. And once we understand that, we understand everything, that we are the center of our universe.
Well, and speaking about the ocean and being a drop in the ocean, let's talk about the interconnection of everything and the energy, vibrational frequency. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, of course. But actually, this energy, the primary energy, is from the single point of singularity, the Big Bang. And this is Lavoisier, the great scientist, French scientist. He said, nothing is lost, nothing is created, everything is transformed. You know that there is nothing more than a little p since the Big Bang. So it means that everything has been concentrating on itself at the beginning. And it means that the iron you have in your blood is the same iron that you have in the mountain. And as we know now with the notion of quantum mechanics, once an atom has been linked, when it's separated, an electron, two electrons can vibrate at the same moment, at the same instant, even if they are completely at the extremity of the galaxy. What does it mean concretely? It means that we are all vibrating each other. There is an interconnection in between each other. It means that's why the Veda said, is interesting perspective, a little bit philosophical and deep. They say, find the place which is already yours in this cosmic breath. What does it mean? It means that we are, and that's why I'm always using this metaphor, we have two ways of perceiving the world. You are a cell. As a human being, you are a cell. Like within your body, you have different cells, okay? You have different cells, white cells, red cells, different organs, and everything is a universe and is you, universe, okay? And you can perceive you as a cell. As a cell, you have two definitions of cells in English. You have the first one, a prison, on which there is the prison, and the walls exist only because of you, and the rest is the world. All right. And if you consider that there is a separation in between your ego and the rest of the world. And the second perception is the cell as you're part of this infinite body, which is the universe, which is the planet. Okay. You are like the ecosystem. You know, the ecosystem, Gaia, if we believe in the theory of Gaia, the nature, the shamans, the Indians, everybody believe in that since the beginning of the humans. Huh? The soul of Earth of Mother Earth is something that only Western people ignore or refuse that now, is with a certain arrogance, we can say.
No, they look at it. They look at it like New Age. It's perceived as this new age by Americans,
that's fine.
Because we're told that God has created everything. Everything's from God. And the nature side is pushed aside.
But this we could discuss hours and hours, because even the the original Americans, okay, the Indians, in a certain way, the Native American, they believe in that. They were not New Agers in a few centuries ago in that way, you understand? And everybody on the planet, the primitive, so-called primitive civilization, they were New Agers as well. So this is funny in that perspective. And why this is just in a certain way, and I don't want to make any offense towards anybody, but the thing is the tool of the institutions regarding the power of religions, which has been used even nowadays, during Inquisition in the past, nowadays again, to divide people, not to divine people, but to divide people.
But it's not also to divide people. It's also to control what they're thinking. to control.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
Yeah,
a form of control.
yeah, but when I say to divine people, it's two-sided. It means to in between each other,
Oh, right.
factions with other religion, but also within themselves, because it comes from the fact that you separate the ego with the rest of the world,
Uh-huh.
and then science, because of the Inquisition, to keep the reason of being, they created the Cartesianism, Descartes to survive. He created the Cartesianism. And what is it concretely? It is Descartes, René Descartes, separating the ego with the environment. And ego, we can perceive it as edge out of God in a certain way. If we consider God as great overall dimensions, okay, it's not necessarily religious. God as the big all, everything, the Tao, whatever the name. And we separate the ego, you, from the universe, but you are the universe. You are complete already, and we are turning around, and we are like the Ouroboros. We are the snake eating his tide all the time, and as long as we are not getting out this perspective, we will never find the secret of the world. But now the consciousness are, that's why there is no, and even the battle in between science and spirituality is vain. It has no reason of being. That's why I'm trying to show different perspective through science. It is two faces of the same medal. If I show you a medal, I show you one face, another face, you will tell me it's the same medal, right? It's just a perspective, yin yang, you see? So concretely, just to come back to the point of the institution, they wanted also we separate, because let's imagine the weapon that institution, globally speaking, not only religious institution, the establishment, if you have a weapon in front of them, they will perceive as a weapon, because it's peaceful, of course. Everybody is awakening tomorrow, and they realize that we are all one. Imagine the solidarity, no competition, no dynamic, and no market. We don't. If we are conscious about everything, you understand, we will change the world. We will shape the world. We will take the lead of the world. And in a certain way, some people don't want that because they want to maintain let's say the power. And we come back on the point. They want to maintain the power, the energy that they use since ages, since a very, very long time, because this is a long story. And this is even probably endless story. It is not probably, it is an endless story, this. And this is the reason.
Hopefully one day it will end. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Wouldn't it? Well, so Issa, we are coming up on the end of the hour. I would like for you to share with our audience more about the Shambhala retreat. Tell us how we can get in touch with you and the services you offer, please.
Yeah, for sure. So it's easy. There is the website, www.shambali.com. I imagine that you will give the spelling. Spelling, it is SHAMBALI. So this is simple. We propose two kinds of retreats, 5 days. So it's a full package, all inclusive. We take you from the airport until the airport. All inclusive, the accommodation, the food, everything, the nutrition. And there is like 20 different activities, as you mentioned, as introduction. So meditation, Reiki, Qigong, Pilates, and so on. A lot of them. And for the people, so 5 days is discovering. Okay, and 10 days, it's optional, huh? It is deepening. It means that you don't need any special knowledge at the beginning, because we will start from scratch for everybody. It will be a fresh reminder for certain of them, for certain people, and it will be a discovery for other people. But in a certain way, what's our main difference is the fact we use the holistic dimension, and holos means in Greek entire, global. So we establish some bridge, some links in between the whole discipline, and we try to show that all of them are linked. So it means it is essentially for helping people to find themselves, to find the unity, to be more balanced in their life, and to be happy in this center is not very complicated. If you check on the website, it's just the paradise on earth almost. And but the goal is essentially that the people bring back a maximum of knowledge for them to reactivate these good frequencies, good energies in their daily life, The perspective, their angle of vision will have changed, obviously. This is our commitment. And then also they will radiate more. They will emit more light toward their environment, and the environment will receive this light, and the light will be transmitted further and further. And this is a small participation to the awakening of this planet. We have also a lot, because of charity dimension, a part of the benefits are given to an orphanage that we can visit, by the way, when we come. There is also a foundation, non-profit organization, in which we are creating an amazing human platform with the best good ideas of the planet from nowadays and from the past. And we want that, like a Wikipedia, but for the good ideas in a certain way, and for free, that everybody can download, and also everybody can have an access. And the goal is, step by step, our little scale, our little level, we try at a humble scale, once again, to improve this amazing world, inspiring the future, and inspired by the word heritage. So it is just all this, it just without any pretension, but it is just something, personally, I have the chance to feel very, very happy, very in harmony, and I'm really grateful for all what I have. But it's like the bottle of champagne. I don't want to drink alone, and I want to share with a maximum of people. And if I can afford, and we are not alone, of course, we have 6 practitioners, and the teaching is a fruit of more than 20 years of experience, 70 countries visited, inspired by different culture and so on. And the goal is simply to help people to find themselves. Here it is.
That's amazing. I've looked on the website and it's just beautiful. Could you tell our listeners, please, where you're located?
We are in Indonesia for the moment, but we have vocation to probably in the future open up new ones in other country. But so far, Indonesia, Bali, Ubud. Ubud, in local language, it means medicine. You see, it's a symbol. It's really high energy there. It's an amazing place, amazing location. So the goal is this vocation to heal people, and not necessarily sick people, but to heal their soul, to heal their heart, and so on. And even if they are just perfectly harmonious, they are also super welcome. Like this, we will radiate all together. Together, we are stronger.
That's right. We sure are. And that website again, please?
The website is www.shambali.com. Shambali, Shambali, sorry. Shambhala, comme Shambhala, and with Bali. Shambali.
And for those who are on the platforms where they can actually read the descriptions of our podcasts, I will include a live link so you can go straight there. So, and be sure to, like us and share us and subscribe wherever you can. Issa, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I greatly appreciate it.
My
pleasure.
Pleasure.
Very informative.
Thank you very much, Joyce, for your kindness and your welcoming. Thank you, Randy, as well. Thank you so much to everybody, the audience, and all the best to you. And as I always say, only mountains never meet each other.
Nice. You've been listening to It's Your Life. My name's Joyce Wheeler. Y'all have a good day. Thank you for listening.
This has been a production of Natural Bliss Podcast for a better quality of life.